राम 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 सर्वेभ्यः नमो नमः सुप्रभातम् सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतं व्याहरामि गुरुरेव गतिर्गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो पुनः सर्वेभ्यः हार्दं स्वागतं सुभाषितानि इति पाठमध्ये सुभाषितानां अर्थस्य अवगमनम् अस्माभिः गतकक्षायामपि किञ्चित् कृतम् अद्य अग्रे सरामः सारांशरूपेण सुभाषितम् इत्युक्ते सुष्ठु भाषितं शोभनं भाषितम् इति these are some of the good sayings maybe present in the Subhashita Granthas itself or also sometimes taken from the Itihasa Purana or any other Sahitya like Panchatantra, Hitopadesha or also some of the other natakas or kavyas, etc. These good sayings, based on the experience and wisdom of our elders, are like the torch bearers for us to understand what is right, what is not right, how one has to behave at certain circumstances, and other things. So, these help us to understand the morals of the life in totality by giving sometimes good examples, by giving sometimes examples of what not to do and so on. So that is what is there in the Subhashitani. There are various Subhashitas praising the Subhashitas itself. Just to quote one, Prithivyam Trini Ratnani Jalam Annam Subhashitam Mudhaihi Pashana Khandeshu Rattasanya Vidhiyate. So the Subhashitakara says, on this planet Earth, there are only three precious things. Those are Jalam, Annam, and Subhashitam. The water, the food, and the Subhashita. Fools basically say the precious things are there in some of the precious stones. So that's how the Subhashitakara says. Nevertheless, we have seen three Subhashitas in our previous class. We will proceed to the next one. I request students to raise your hand so that you can recite the Subhashita. Okay, Parvati Bhagini, can you recite this?
नमस्ते महोदय।
Namaste.
राजा घृणी ब्राह्मणः सर्वभक्षी स्त्री चात्रपा दुष्टमतिः सहायः प्रेष्यः प्रतीपोऽधिकृतः प्रमादी त्याज्या अमीयश्च कृतं न वेत्ति।
उत्तमम् उत्तमरीत्या उक्तं धन्यवादाः।
धन्यवादः।
Astu. So now let us try to do the Anvaya and before that the Padacheda. So will Shankar Mahodaya, can you try doing the Padacheda?
सुप्रभातं महोदय।
Namaste.
राजा गृणी ब्राह्मणः सर्वभक्षी स्त्री च अत्रपाः
Atrapa.
दुष्टमतिः सहायः प्रेक्ष्यः प्रदीपः अधिकृत्यः प्रमादी त्याज्या अमी यः च कृतं न वेत्ति।
उत्तमं सम्यक् कृतं। स्त्री च अत्रपा अत्रापि तत्र सवर्णदीर्घसन्धिः अस्ति। प्रतीपः अधिकृतः अत्र पूर्वरूप अत्र उकारादेशविसर्गसन्धिः तदनन्तरं पूर्वरूपसन्धिः एवं वर्तते। यश्च अत्र सकारादेशविसर्गसन्धिः वर्तते। अस्तु धन्यवादाः महोदय।
धन्यवाद.
Okay, now let us try to do the Anvaya for this. Um, so here, one more thing which was probably told, but I missed maybe. Tyajyaha, ami tyajyaha. All these have to be abandoned. Tyajyaha has to be left out. And then there, the Subhashitakara here is giving um, set of people whom we should abandon, whom we should not keep in our circles, etc. So he says, ami tyajyaha. K, if you ask a question, ami tyajyaha. Here the kriya dyotakapala, the tyajya is basically like similar to karya and so on. It is a kridanta. Ami, these, asau amu ami, these have to be abandoned. Iti artha bhavishyati. Ke tyajyaha, if you ask a question, then every statement we can see here, Raja Ghrni Raja. So basically Ghrni will become the adjective to Raja. Sarvabhakshi Brahmanaha, the second case. Then Atrapastri. We will see the meanings of these words in a moment. Dushtamatihi Sahayaha. Pratipaha Preshyaha. Again, this is an adjective there. Pramadi Adhikritihi Adhikritaha. And then Yashcha Kritam na Vetti. So this is the next category. So all these have to be abandoned. That is the meaning of this Subhashita overall. We will see it in detail now. Padacheda we have seen. Anvaya will be in this format. The adjectives will come before and so on. Ghrani Raja, Sarvabhakshi Brahmanaha, Atrapa Stri, Dushtamatihi Sahayaha, Pratipaha Preshyaha, Pramadi Adhikritaha, Yaha cha Kritanna Vetti, Ami Tyajyaha. Idanim Tatra Padapadartham Pashyamaha. Ghrani, Ghrani इत्यनेन दयालुः कृपालुः इति वक्तुं शक्यते. One who is very soft, one who is very compassionate. Tadrisha nripaha raja sarvada na bhavatu. What does that mean is, for his role as a raja, he has to be very courageous. He has to have compassion, of course, but not too much. So if the compassion is beyond a certain limit, then he will be always considered to be a person who is not standing for his own rajya. And hence, Raja should be a bit strict because he has to rule. Shasanam kartavyam tena iti karanena. So, a person who is very ghrini, very compassionate, very dayalu, saha avashyam tatra raja rupena vartitum na shakyate. A simple example that we can think about is in the Mahabharata Prasanga, in the Ekachakra Nagara, where the Bakasura was there, the king there was two ways to see. One, he was very weak to face Bakasura, and he was very compassionate in the sense that he did not have any means to control the Bakasura. So what did the people do? Started abandoning, started moving out of Ekachakra because Bakasura used to come and eat people. So he should not be, a Raja should not be like that. The next one, Sarva Bhakshi, Sarvam Bhakshati, one who eats everything, whatever he gets. Sarva Bhakshi Brahmanaha, Advijaha, a Brahmana, who eats everything. That means to say, we have already seen in the lesson, Ahar Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhihi. One, whatever we intake, whatever we eat, either in a physical form, the food, or the thoughts that we get, based on that, our character is defined. A Brahmana is a person who is a Brahmanishtha, who has to contemplate upon the Parabrahma. And if he eats everything, then his sadhana, or the way he will be able to think, will also get impacted. He has to follow certain restraints or certain rules or niyamas based on what he can eat, what he should not eat, follow various vratas like Ekadashi, etc. So these are some of the things that have been evolved over the years, and our ancestors have put them for us, and we should follow it well. So Sarvabhakshi Brahmanaha Nama, one who is not having a control, one who is again who who is tempted by whatever he wants, whatever he gets to eat, etc. So we should abandon that person as well, because he's not following the maybe the religious or scriptural sayings that has been put forth. Atrapa lajjarahita, a shameless woman. Atrapa stri vanita api tyajya. So here the lajja means it is not that you should be very shy. That is not the meaning here. A woman should be always worried about her character a lot. This goes with also men. It is not only women, but she has to be very careful in her conduct. So that is the reason, if a person is not so keen about safeguarding their character, such women have to be abandoned. Dushtamatihi sahayaha, dushtavicharaha yasya asti, tadrishaha sevakaha sahayaha, a servant, should also be abandoned. One who is not having good intentions to serve, one who is always having something or the other in the background of his mind while he is working towards something. So dushta vicharaha, dushtamatihi sahayaha, maybe a ill-witted servant, or a person who is having bad thoughts, so he has to be abandoned. Pratipaha preshyaha, the next person is Pratipaha. Preshyaha, Preshyaha means a messenger. Pratipaha is a Viparitakari, a person who who does something opposite, and he defeats the purpose of that particular contract or communication. So Tadrishaha Dutaha should be abandoned. So the best example of an ideal Duta, if you ask, it will be Lord Hanuman, Anjaneyaha, how he became the best Duta, the messenger of Rama, when he searched for Sita in Lanka and then met Lankadhishwara. He gives certain messages to Lankadhipati. His prime goal of searching Lanka was to identify where, if Sita is alive, if Sita is there somewhere, and communicate it back to Rama. पूर्वाविरोधेन यदि दूतः अधिकं कार्यं karoti tadvaram. So the primary purpose of his visit was to know if Sita Mata is there, and so on. So after doing that, he will use the Samadana Danda. So he then destroys some of the gardens there, etc., to get the attention of Ravana, goes and meets Ravana. So Aduta has to be having so many diplomatic characters, like how he has to handle the affairs with the ministers, with the kings, and so on. If the intention itself is not correctly understood by the Duta, then there's no good thing that would happen. So Viparitakari Dutaha api Tyajyaha. Next is Adhikritaha Pramadi. Pramadi Adhikritaha. Pramadi Adhikari is Adhikritaha is an Adhikari, an official. Doshakari Adhikritaha. A person who always commits mistakes. One who is an official who has um, certain power, who has to execute it in the right way. If he is not doing it correctly, if he's committing mistakes again and again, so he's a person who has to be abandoned. Yaha kritanna vetti. And um, another person that has to be abandoned is Yaha kritanna vetti, one who has to be, one who does not know what is being done. So he is also a person who has to be abandoned. Kritaghnaha, who is an ungrateful man. So two ways to look at this. Kritanna vetti is whatever he does not know the outcome or the consequence of that. That is one. Another way to look at it is one who does not recognize the efforts of others who have helped him. So kritagnaha is kritam janati iti kritagnaha, one who is grateful. So there's a Subhashita which says, Paraguna Paramanun Parvati Kritya Nityam. So how are the sadhus? If there is a question asked, the sadhus are like they will glorify even the smallest of the help that has been received by others. So we have also seen Prathama Vayasi Pitam Toyam Alpam Smarantaha. Even the bit of water that you have offered is being remembered by the coconut trees, and they offer invaluable, sweet, and delicious coconut water throughout their life. So in that way, that is a Kritagnya. But Kritaghna is who will not recognize that help or support received by others. So he's very ungrateful. So such a person has to be also abandoned. Ami ete janaha tyajyaha tyaktum arhaha tyaktum yogyaha. All these have to be abandoned or rejected. So here the Subhashtakara gives us the signs from which we should understand that okay, whether we should stay close to someone of this kind or we should be very careful in handling or dealing with these people. So that's the overview of this Subhashita. Let us see the Artha. दयालुः नृपतिः सर्वभक्षी द्विजः लज्जारहिता स्त्री दुष्टविचारः सेवकः विपरीतकारी दूतः दोषकारी अधिकारी कृतघ्नः च अमी त्याज्याः. These have to be abandoned. Hope you're all able to understand the details of this Subhashita. I'll see if there are any questions. Yeah, do we need to memorize the Subhashitani? Yes, the Subhashitani has to be memorized. So this has been part of the Kanta Patha Karaniyaha, so has been also being practiced at the beginning of the classes sometimes. Yeah, we'll have to memorize these Subhashitas. Then, meaning of Sahasa was not clear. Okay, I'll just tell about Sahasa. I think I missed to explain there. Viparitakari, Sahasa Karyam Yaha Karoti. Sahasa Nama, out of haste, who does not think, uh, and then in the spur of the moment, he does something which will affect the bigger purpose of his duty. So that is uh, the Sahasa. Sahasa means doing something in haste. Sahasa vidhadita na kriyam. There is a statement, Sahasa vidhadita na kriyam. So we should never do anything in haste. So that is the meaning of Sahasa. Okay, what is greedy in Sanskrit? Greedy is basically lubdhaha. Dhanalubdha. Lubdha is one word which we can use for greedy. Okay, we'll proceed further. If there are any questions, please put it across in the chat box so that I'll be able to look at it and then answer it. Astu, agre saramaha. The Vyakaranamsha. So let us see if some of you can try to answer that. Lalita Bhagini, can you answer the first two? Which Shabda it is? You can unmute yourself.
Rajan Sabdah, Raja.
Samichinam. Nakarantaha Pullingaha Rajan Shabdaha.
Pradama Vibhakti, Ekavachana.
Yes, yes.
Khrni, Khrni is, I don't know.
Okay, no problem. It is Ghrina Asya Astiti Ghrni. So it will be like
Visheshyam for the Raja, Visheshanam
correct,
for Raja.
correct.
Okay, okay. Brahmanaha, again, Akaranda Pullinga, Pradama Vibhakti,
Yes,
Ekavachana.
correct,
Sarvabhashi, again, that is a Visheshanam to Brahmana.
correct.
Nakaran, Sarvabhachan, Nakarandaka, Pradama. Okay. Stri is a Strilingam, Ekarandam. Pradama Vibhakti.
Astu.
Strihi, it should
No,
be
no, no,
Strihi.
no. It is not Strihi. It is just three. Ikaranta
Okay.
Shabda. Yes.
Okay.
Dhanyawadaha, Bhagini.
Thank you.
Astu. So Ghranin Sarvabhakshin, basically this is both are Nakaranta Shabdas. So this is a Tadhita. Dandaha Asya Astiti Dandin. That's how the form will be. Dandi and so on. So Ikaranta Strilinga Shabda Stri Ityeva Shabdaha. Astu. We'll proceed further. Gopal Krishna Mahodaya, can you try answering or explaining some of these words? Very good.
Atrapa Strilinga Ekavachanam
Samichinam.
Dushtamatihi. Again, from Matihi only it is
Correct.
Dushta is only adjective to Matihi.
Very good. Very good.
So this is Matihi. Ikarantaha Strilinga Pratama Vibhakti.
Satyam.
Sahayaha Preshyaha Pratipaha. These are all nouns. Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachanam.
Samichinam.
Adhikritaha. Again, this is Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachanam.
Yes. Yes. That is true. Dhanyawadaha. So all these are Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachanam. So here specifically if you see Adhi Upasarga Sahita Kr Dhatoho Kta Pratyaya. Kritaha is basically the Bhutakala Kridantaha. So that's how this word has come. Dhanyawadaha Mahodaya. Well answered. Astu. So here also Dushta Matihi, Dushta Yam Matihi Cha. So it is actually a Karmadharaya Samasa if you want to know it. So a thought that is bad or an intention that is bad, that is Dushta Matihi. So that's how we can see this word. Okay. Then the last few words, let us see. Prakash Mohini Bhagini, can you try answer these?
Pramadi, it is adjective to adhikrita.
Correct.
Tyajyaha is akarant pulling shabda, bahuvachan. Pratham vibhakti bahuvachan.
Very good.
Others is sakaranta pulling pratham vibhakti bahuvachan.
Very good.
Yaha is also Dakaranta, I think. Yad.
Yes, yad shabda, samichinam.
And Kritam is Krid Shabda, Dvitiya Vibhakti.
Yes, that is right.
It is a
Ta
ta
pratyaya.
pratyaya.
Ta pratyaya. Yes, that is right.
Veti is dhatu, vidya dhatu.
Yes.
Pratham.
Dhanyawadaha. Well answered. I will just conclude on that. Okay, so pramadin shabda basically, that's why it's nakarantaha. And then tyajyaha, tyajyaha, Kshamatam, there's a typo here. It's tyajyaha. Ya is missing here. Tyajyaha. And then ami, asau amu ami, sakarantaha, bahuvachanam. Here also in that way. Kritam is basically kridhatu kta pratyaya. Here it is dvitiya bhakti ekavachanam. Vetti vidajnane iti dhatoho लट्लकार प्रथम पुरुषः एकवचनं वेत्ति इति then yes, so when we see this amityajyaha, these have to be abandoned. So these have to be abandoned by us is evident, or we should abandon these. Either way is okay. And then if you see Ghrani Raja Tyajyaha, so or etc. Whatever we see, it is kind of in the passive voice. So that is there because amityajaha, that's how it is being used here. Okay, veti means to know. Vidajnane is dhatu. Veti means one who does not know. Yaha kritanna veti, one who does not know what is being done, or one who does not identify the help received by others. So that is one who is ungrateful. That is the meaning of that. Okay, so let us see. Let us go to the next Subhashita now. Okay, Shantala Bhagini, can you recite this?
विद्यया विमलयाप्यलङ्कृतो दुर्जनः सदसि मास्तु कश्चन साक्षरा हि विपरीततां गताः केवलं जगति तेऽपि राक्षसाः.
उत्तमं, धन्यवादाः. Rajini Bhagini, can you do the Padacheda?
नमस्ते.
Namaste.
विद्या विमलया अपि अलङ्कृतः दुर्जनः सदसि मा अस्तु कश्चन.
Yeah, basically Kashtana is, yeah,
कः
that's fine.
अकः चन कश्चन. साक्षरा हि विपरीततां गताः केवलं जगति ते अपि राक्षसाः.
उत्तमं, धन्यवादाः.
धन्यवादः.
Okay, so yeah, now let us see. The Padacheda is done, and we'll try to see how the Anvaya for this comes. So here, the Subhashitakara employs a beautiful technique of just reordering the letters in a word and try to give what is being told here. If you see Saksharaha, Saksharaha is the word, and the same exact opposite he's trying to use in the order as Rakshasaha, Rakshasaha in the reverse order. So he says, and then Saksharaha hi viparitatam gataha. Viparitatam is doing something opposite. So if they start doing something opposite, they are nothing but they are just reverting their sakshara in the opposite way, which is Rakshasaha. So he employs this beautiful technique of playing with the word itself, the order of the letters. So we will see the meaning of this in a moment. The Anvaya is Kaschana Durjanaha Vidyaya Vimalaya Alankritaha Api Sadasi Mastu. That is the first statement. Durjanaha, Kaschana Durjanaha Vidyaya Vimalaya Alankritaha Api. Even though he is well versed, he is a scholarly person, if at all he is a Durjana. Durjana, by that, the Kavi or the Subhashtakara means one who is having bad intentions, one who is thinking not the good of everyone. So he is a Durjana, a Dushtamati, because now he's kind of stating why he said so in the first half. In the second half, he says, Viparitatang gataha saksharaha hi jagati kevalam tepi rakshasaha. Te jagati rakshasaha eva. So he's claiming that saksharaha. Sakshara means one who has studied. Sa aksharaha, basically. One who knows, or one who is an intellectual person, one who is a pandita. And if he thinks in the wrong direction, he's not um, good than any other Rakshasa. So, I mean, that means to say he's equivalent to a Rakshasa. So, that is the meaning of this Subhashita in general. Kaschana Durjanaha Vidyaya Vimalaya Alankarataha api sadasi mastu. Viparitatankataha saksharaha hi jagati rakshasaha eva. Te jagati kevalam rakshasa api. So you can just play around the words there to just get that. Or jagati kevalam tepi rakshasaha. They are also like the demons in this world. So here one important thing that is there is, irrespective of whether a person is knowledgeable or not, his intentions to put to use his knowledge is very important. So we know um, scientists who develop maybe nuclear technology or nuclear energy to save the world, or to make use of the nuclear energy to produce electricity, is one way to use it. The another way, the exact extreme contrast of it is people who use the nuclear power to deploy bombs to destroy the world. We can think of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where a nuclear weapon was used, and the after effects are still being seen in the multiple generations later. Though the knowledge is a power, how you make it to use is very important. The same way, this is not just with people, saksharaha viparitatankataha kevalam tepi jagati rakshasaha, but also with the things. Maybe a knife, for example. A knife, if it is put to the use, the right use, it can save a life, because doctors use surgical knives to uh, do a surgery. It saves a life. But if it is not used in the right way, it can also harm someone, it can cut someone. So anything, if the intention with which something is approached with is not right, then the after effects or the outcome is also not good. So this is something that we should always remember, and that is what the Subhashtakara is trying to say through this particular statement. Saksharahi viparitataangataha kevalam jagati tepi rakshasaha eva. Now let us see the Anvayartha, Padapadartha here. Kaschana, basically someone, so there's no deterministic way of saying someone. So that is what is a certain person, basically. Kashchit. Dushtaha, Durjanaha, evil man, evil intention, whoever has an evil intention. Vidyaya, Jnanena, Vimalaya, Shuddhaya, the purity. Alankritaha api, Sanyuktaha api, even though he is decorated with multiple vidyas, etc. So here Vidyaya, Vimalaya, etc. are all in Tritiya Vibhakti. Alankritaha api, even though that is the case, Sadasi Mastu, he should not be in the court of the king. Basically, this is a Subhashita given or told to king. So he has to be abandoned basically in that way. Mastu kadachitapi, kadapi na bhavet. Let him not be there at all. Because Viparitatangataha, reversed or pratipaha, who think in a different way, in a wrong way, etc. Viparitatam. Viparita is opposite, basically, always. Saksharahi jnanayutaha eva jagati loke. Tepi rakshasaha dushtaha durvichara sampannaha eva bhavanti. So that is the overview of this particular Subhashita. So now let us see the Bhavartha together. Yah kopi dushtaha vidyaya vimalaya sanyuktaha api sadasi praveshah na datavyah. Tasmai sadasi praveshah na datavyah. Those have to be blacklisted. Yataha pratipaha saksharaha eva rakshasa bhavanti. Jagati rakshasa bhavanti. So remember the play of the word. Sakshara is just reversed to get the word rakshasa. Even though an evil man or well educated, he should not be allowed to enter the court, because a learned individual on the wrong path is indeed a demon. Even the words, when the word sakshara is reversed, it gives rakshasa. So that is the gist or the summary of this Subhashita. So now let us see the Vyakaranamshaha. Of course, we have already seen some of this told. Vidyaya Vimalaya is Akaranta Strilinga Shabda, Tritiya Bhaktihi Ekavachanam. Api Aksharaihi Sahitaha Bahuvrihi Samasaha. Kshimyatam, that is, I think it just got Alankritaha. This has to be Alankritaha api. Saksharaha, for the Saksharaha is Aksharihi Saha. So the word is wrongly given here. I will correct it. Alankritaha Akarantaha Pullingaha. Prathama Bhaktihi Ekavachanam. Then Durjanaha, again Akarantaha. Sadasi Sakaranta. Sadas Shabda, Sadaha, Sadasi, Sadamsi, Sadas, and that it is Saptami Bhaktihi Ekavachanam. Here is the right one here. Api is just an avyaya. Astu is asthatoho lotlakara prathama purusha ekavachanam. Kaschana, here just the shtutvam is there. Kaha chana kaschana sakaradesha, and then shtutva. Saksharaha rakshasaha is aksharaihi sahitaha saksharaha bahurihi samasa. Akarantaha bahuvachanam. Viparitatam, the word is viparitata. This is also tadhita word. Viparitata is a Srilinga Shabda. Akaranta Srilingaha Dvitiya Bhaktihi Ekavachanam. Gataha is Gam Dhatoho Ta Pratyaya. It is also Kridanta here. And Pradama Bhakti Bahuvachanam. Kevalam, again Pradama Bhakti Napumsakalinga. Then Jagati Dakarantaha Saptami Bhakti Ekavachanam. Te Dakaranta Saha Taute Te na bhavet iti. Hope this Subhashita is also clear. Let's see if there are any specific questions related to this. Okay, there are some general questions. I will take it towards the end of it. Astu, Agrima Subhashitam Prati Gacchamaha. We will now go to this next Subhashita. Hema Bhagini, can you recite this?
राम 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 पौलस्त्यः कथमन्यदारहरणे दोषं न विज्ञातवान् रामेणापि कथं न हेमहरिणस्यासम्भवो लक्षितः अक्षैश्चापि युधिष्ठिरेण सहसा प्राप्तो ह्यनर्थः कथं प्रत्यासन्न विपत्तिमूढमनसां प्रायो मतिः क्षीयते.
उत्तमं, वेल् रिसैटेड्. धन्यवादाः.
धन्यवादः.
Jairam Mahodaya, Jairam and Jaidev, can you try to do the Padacheda?
पौलस्त्यः कथम् अन्यदार हरणे दोषं न
Anyadara Harane, one word. Okay.
न विज्ञातवान् रामेण अपि कथं न हेमहरिणस्य असम्भवो लक्षितः
Here it will be Asambhavaha Lakshitaha.
असम्भवः लक्षितः. धन्यवादाः आचार्य. अक्षैः च अपि युधिष्ठिरेण सहसा प्राप्तो ह्यनर्थः कथम्.
Here Praptaha hi anarthaha.
प्राप्तः हि अनर्थः कथम्. प्रत्यासन्न विपत्ति.
That's one word only. It's only
प्रत्यासन्न विपत्तिमूढमनसां प्रायो मतिः क्षीयते.
Again here it is Prayaha Matihi
Okay,
Kshiyate.
sir. प्रायः मतिः क्षीयते. धन्यवादाः आचार्य. राम राम.
Dhanyavadaha. Okay, so this is how the Padacheda would look like here. So the Pratyasanna Vipatti Mudha Manasam is one word. Prati Asanna, there is a Sandhi of course, but it is a one word. Prati Asanna Vipatti Mudha Manasam is actually one word. Let us see the Padacheda here. Paulastyaha Katham Anyadara Harane Dosham na Vijnatavan Ramena api Katham na Hema Harinasya Asambhavaha Lakshitaha Akshaihi cha api युधिष्ठिरेण सहसा प्राप्तः हि अनर्थः कथं प्रत्यासन्न विपत्ति मूढ़ मनसां प्रायः मतिः क्षीयते. Here again the Subhashitakara is employing by giving three examples, by giving three cases. He is generalizing that in the last pada and says pratyasanna vipatti mudha manasam prayo matihi kshiyate. People will lose their ability to think, the viveka, ability to think, ability to know what is right, wrong, etc. when there is an apaya that has already been there. Pratyasanna vipatti moodha manasa. Whenever there is a vipat, our mind stops working. So that is what he's generalizing. And for that, he gives three examples of Ravana, Rama, and Yudhishthira. What did they do and what happened? Okay, so let us see the Anvaya of this. Anvaya will almost be similar, not too different. A bit of words this way and that way. That's it. Katham Paulastyaha Anyadara Harane Dosham na Vijnatavan. That's the first statement. Katham is used also at the next places as well. So because it's also there in the Subhashita itself. Katham Ramenapi Hemaharinasya Asambhavaha na Lakshitaha. Katham Yudhishthirena Sahasa Akshaihi api Anarthaha Praptaha. So these are the three statements that Subhashtakara is giving, and then he is generalizing it. Prayaha pratyasanna vipatti mudhamanasam matihi kshiyate. It is observed that during vipat kala, the mind stops working, or tadrisha jananam manasi athava buddhihi kinchit kshina bhavati iti. So let's try to understand deeper about this, the meanings of this. Okay, so the bhavartha is given before. I'll come back to that. First, anvayartha, let us go through this. Paulastyaha. So, पुलस्त्यस्य गोत्रे उत्पन्नः, पुलस्त्य गोत्रोत्पन्नः इत्यर्थः Ravana. He was born in a very good Rishi Parampara, basically the lineage. Pulastya was his ancestor. So such a Ravana who knows the dharma, who knows everything, Anyadara harane, Anyadara harane, Paresham, Dara Parapatni, Patyaha Apaharane. Itukte in abducting others' wife, basically Sita Apaharanasya Udaharanam Svikritya, Varadara harane, Katham, Dosham, Pramadam, Katham va na Vikyatavan, na Avagatavan. How is it that Paulastya, Ravana, being though he's come in a very good lineage, who is well versed in the Shastras, did not understand that abducting another person's wife is a crime. Evam dosham na vigyatavan. Then similarly, Ramenapi, even by Buddhimata Raghavenapi, Hemaharinasya Swarnamrigasya Asambhavaha Sattabhavaha, that is impossibility of a golden deer. How did he not realize that it is not possible to have a Hemaharina, Hemamriga? Katham va na lakshitaha. How was that he did not think about it? He did not realize about it. And then Yudhishthirainapi. How did Dharmaraja Yudhishthira, who was also well versed in the Dharma Shastra, etc., Sahasa Jhatiti in haste, gambled, basically he played the Akshakrida, the dice game, and he kept on stake everyone, including his brothers, his wife, his Rajya, everything. Everything was put on stake. He himself was also put on as the bet. Katham, how was this even possible? Though he knew everything. Anarthaha, kleshaha, the difficulty, the calamities. It's not just one series of calamities were there because of that. Praptaha, labdhaha. It was attained by Yudhishthira also. Then, then after these three incidents, the Kavi quotes, Prayaha generally, most likely, Pratyasanna vipatti mudha manasam, sannihitena apatkalena sammohita chetasam. Whenever there is a calamity that is approaching, which is already destined to happen, your mind will be clouded. You will not be able to think. Matihi, buddhihi, intelligence, kshiyate, kshayam prapnoti, diminishes. So, evam tatra subhashikaraha vadati. So, we will see the Anvayartha for this Subhashita now. Um, the Bhavartha of this. Saptarshehe Pulastyasya Vamshe Jataha Veda Vedanga vid api Ravanaha Parapatyaha Apaharane Pramadam Katham na Avagatavan, Katham na Gyatavan. Mahabudhiman Raghavaha api Swarnamrikaha Naiva Sambhavati iti Kutaha na Vicharitavan. Dharmarajaha Yudhishthiraha Akshakridayaha Anartham Janannapi Kapatadyute Parajitaha. एभिः उदाहरणैः ज्ञायते यत् सन्निहितेन आपत्कालेन सम्मोहितचेतसां महात्मनामपि बुद्धिः क्षयं प्राप्नोति. It's all because of the calamity that your mind is clouded and you will not be able to take the right decision. Of course, uh, if you look at these examples also in the Ramayanam or Mahabharatam, etc., uh, how do we interpret each character? How do we interpret each incident? Is these are like serving us the examples of how we should behave at certain time and place and how we should not behave in certain way. Asmabhihi Ramavat Ramadivat bhavitavyam natu Ravanadivat. We should take the right examples, the ideal examples that is given as from Rama in general, and the bad examples that has been shown with respect to Ravana, we should be away from that. We should never be thinking of those things. And then there are also certain incidents, even Rama was unable to uh, discriminate whether it was a Maya, that is Maya Mriga, or it was a real deer. And then, so such incidents should be remembered whenever we are going in that kind of a dvandva in our mind about something, deciding on something, etc. So in summary, it says, how is that Ravana, who was born in a family of great sage Pulastya and who was a great scholar himself, did not understand that abducting others' wife is a crime? How is that Rama, who was very intelligent, did not realize that it is impossible for a golden deer to exist? How is it that the righteous Yudhishthira, who knew all the perils of gambling, courted a disaster with dice? Through these examples, we can see that even great men, with their minds clouded by the approaching calamity, lose their intelligence. So, a very good Subhashita to be remembered. Pratyasanna vipatti mudha manasam prayo matihi kshiyate. So, let us see the Vyakaranamshas of this. पौलस्त्यः पुलस्त्यस्य अपत्यं पुमान् और पुलस्त्यस्य गोत्रे जातः पौलस्त्यः अकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः एकवचनं कथम् अव्ययम् अन्यदारहरणे अन्यस्य दाराः अन्यदाराः षष्ठी तत्पुरुषः दारा इस् नित्य बहुवचन शब्द सो नित्य बहुवचन सो हेन्स् अन्यस्य दाराः दाराः इस् यूस्ड अन्यदारहरणम् अन्यदारायाः अन्यदाराणां हरणम् अन्यदारहरणं तत्र षष्ठी विभक्तिः षष्ठी तत्पुरुष समासः भवति दोषम् अकारान्तः द्वितीयविभक्ति एकवचनं विज्ञातवान् वि उपसर्गसहित ज्ञातवान् ज्ञा धातोः भूतकृदन्तः तवतु प्रत्ययः अत्र भवति तकारान्तः विज्ञातवत् इति शब्दः तस्य प्रथमविभक्ति एकवचनं रामेण जानीमः न अपि च एतानि अव्ययानि हेमहरिणस्य अकारान्तः षष्ठीविभक्तिः एकवचनं and then asambhavah na sambhavah nai tatpurushah that it does not exist lakshitah laksh dhatuh to see how is that he was unable to realize about this lakshitah. Then akshaihi akshakrida is dyuta krida, the gambling or the game of dice. Akarantah pullingah tritiya vibhaktihi bahochanam yudhishthirena again akarantah tritiya vibhaktihi. Then sahasa is an avyayam. Sahasa is, as I said, jhatiti immediately or something like that. Praptaha praupasarga sahita apra vyapto dhatuh क्त प्रत्ययः प्राप्तः अनर्थः अविद्यमानः अर्थः अनर्थः प्रत्यासन्न विपत्ति मूढ़ मनसाम सो प्रत्यासन्नाः विपत्तिः प्रत्यासन्न विपत्तिः vipat is basically vipatti is a strilinga shabda and hence pratyasanna is an adjective to vipatti that an approaching or a nearing calamity. Then pratyasanna vipatya mudham so that is tatya tatpurusha there because of an approaching calamity the mind is basically um, clouded the mudham pratyasanna vipatti mudha manasam pratyasanna vipatya mudham manaha yesham te because of this how or the maudhya has been there in the people so that is mudha manasam there the bahuvrihi samasa is affected just know about it but do not worry if you're not able to fully follow the samasa aspect of it as of now prayaha avyayam then matihi ikaranta strilinga kshiyate kshi dhatoho prathama purusha ekavachanam that's the atmanepadi let lakarah okay so now I'll open up for the question and answers. I will see what are the questions that are there in the chat box and try to answer them. Some of them are general questions. So let me try to answer them. Please note the recording of the previous class is not uploaded, but the slides have been uploaded yesterday from the previous class. So the slides are uploaded. So that was one question. The recordings would be probably uploaded by today for the previous class. There was some delay to process the video. Then I already spoke about the Amityajyaha, and then how it can be thought about as the Karmani Prayoga. Um, that is taken care. And so there was one question also from the previous class which I wanted to uh, answer. So Nihita, there was a question related to Nihita. What is the dhatu, underlying dhatu of that? So it is basically dadhati. The dhatu is there. Dudhai dhatu. That is the dhatu there. There is a special adesha that the dhatu gets, the dha gets hikara basically. The dha ter hihi. So he is used whenever the kta pratyaya is affected. So hitaha is basically, or nihitaha, ni upasarga sahita there. It becomes dha dhatoho kta pratyaya nihita. Shirasi nihita bharaha. That is the word if you want to remember. And then next is okay, whether we have to split any sandhi while reciting the subhashitani, etc. Um, in general, if it is a padanta in end of a quarter or uh, something like that, you can split the sandhi. But otherwise, while reciting, we should not split the sandhis because it will then um, change the chandas. So it will not be following the chandas in the right way. Hence, we can split, or we can do the sandhi cheda at the end of the quarters, basically, or end of the padas. Is kevalam a visheshana? Yeah, you can think kevalam as a visheshana. Kevalam jagati tepi rakshasa, or they are not good, not more than a rakshasa, or not or something like that. So you can think it as a visheshana also in a way. When is the exam and other things? There are a few questions related to the exam. So once we complete the syllabus and the portions, we'll be communicating more details about the exam, when it will be conducted and so on. So please do have some patience related to that. For offline exam, those who would be writing in exam centers, usually the exam will happen on the first Sunday of September. So which is on September 7th this year. I will be providing more details about the exam probably in by the end of this month. In next 2 weeks, we will be providing more details about it. Yes, so Pratyasanna Vipatti Mudha Manasam Prayo Matihi Kshiyate. Lalita Bhagini has given another quote, Vinashakale Viparita Buddhihi. Yes, exactly. That is the same theme. This particular Subhashita is also. When there is some Vinasha that is destined, we will do a lot of overthinking, or we will not be able to see the facts in the right way. Paulastyaha is Pulastyasya apatyam pumanatu Pulastasya gotre sampannaha iti. It is not like Kaunteya directly, because Kuntyaha apatyam puman Kaunteyaha is a different tadhita, different pratyaya there. Paulastya is a different tadhita. So, I mean, the pratyaya that is added is different. But these are all apatyarthaka, or the gotre jataha, the same way, but it is not directly similar to it. Vainateyaha, Kaunteyaha, etc. are similar because it is all based on a stri, that is Kunti, then uh, Vinuta, and so on. But Paulastya is a different example. Okay, then Pratyasanna. What is the meaning of Pratyasanna? Um, Asannaha. Asanna means that is there already. Pratyasanna is something that is nearing or coming, upcoming, etc. That is the meaning of Pratyasanna. Astu, with that, we will close today's class. And again, in the upcoming class, we will continue with the Subhashitani and we will try to complete the remaining Subhashitas, 4 more Subhashitas. So I request again, as said the last class, for the next 4 Subhashitas, try to do the Padacheda and Anvaya on your own. Try to practice it. So we will be able to discuss that in the upcoming class. धन्यवादाः सर्वेभ्यः. राम राम राम.